Good morning. Now what we have a look at today, well, you've seen the title no doubt. I recently got contacted by BPS Knives in Ukraine. Now they were very open and said quite simply, would you like to take a look at one of our knives? Here's the link to our website, pick anything you like. They've got quite a big range. I had a look through them and one particularly stood out to me, and that was this one. This is the B1. Now before we look at the knife itself, just a quick look at the sheath. It's really nice thick leather, well made, well stitched, riveted in the points that's needed, of course, good strength. They have thought to put a drain hole in there, which is quite important, certainly with UK conditions. We don't want the sheath filling up with water. And the other thing which I really like is the fact that it's got a dangler. Now, there's nothing wrong with conventional loops on your belt, but certainly I find when I'm camping with a conventional loop, when I go to sit in my camping chair, I end up having to sort of adjust the knife as I sit down because it ends up underneath me or sticking in my hip. Being sort of more free moving on a dangler, it doesn't get in the way so much, so I really like that. The knife itself, let's have a look. Now, in their description of this particular knife, they call it a tribute to the Ramirez woodlaw, bushlaw knife. And as we know, they're expensive. So let's get this bit out the way, right from the start. From memory, the Ramirez knives are sort of in the 300 to 500 pound mark, something like that. They're on their third generation now. There is different versions of it, but they're in that sort of region. Well, this is a tenth of that. This is about 35 pounds, complete with its leather sheath and everything else. Why did I pick this one? Well, it was the most suitable one for what I do. I've had a look on YouTube and several people have done reviews for BPS knives, and it always seems to be the bigger ones, the more expensive ones. I suppose that's human nature, isn't it? All free stuff, let's get something really good. That's not me. I wanted something that will actually work, something I'll actually use. So this was the obvious answer, something this sort of size. Blade wise, you're looking at about 4.5 inch, which is, you know, perfect bushcrafty sort of size. It's like a spear point, which is very good if you need to make a hole in something, especially if you're doing like a bow drill setup. You wanted to make a little pit to put the end of your rod into. It's always handy to have something like that. And although they've gone spear point, I don't know quite how well you'll see, they've kept the blade full thickness, almost to the tip, which of course is going to give it a decent amount of strength, especially if you're battening. Obviously, most of it will be in the wood. There's a little bit sticking out that is the bit that you're hitting. If it's too fine, whatever you're using as a whacker gets totally destroyed with a fine blade. That should work quite well battening. Walnut handles. The handle itself is actually quite simple, which is no bad thing. The fancy finger grooves and all that can work, but only if it's exactly the same as your hand. This is just a simple grip, and it's comfortable. I don't know, I haven't used it enough yet, but whenever I pick it up, I instinctively want my thumb on the top here rather than curled around the side, which is no bad thing. I mean, it's better for control and things like that. But overall, fit and finish for a 35-pound-ish knife, I can't see any problems here. This is really, really nice. It's got a lovely sharp spine on it. That should work well with the fire steel. I haven't tried that yet. But this is just a first look at. This will be coming out on my next few camping trips. bit of testing ongoing and so on and so forth, and at some point I will do a conclusion. But at the moment, value for money wise versus, you know, how well it seems to be finished, does come very sharp out the box, decent spine, nothing I need to modify on it, which is a good thing, and of course the decent sheath. I also like the fact that it's just a deep sheath. There's no fancy buckles or whatever to hold it in place. You know, really good retention. It's not going anywhere. It's just simple and effective. A bit like me, really. Yeah, overall, I think this is a winner for the money, but I won't be certain until I've had a few weeks testing. Watch this space.